This is Talking Hands, and in this video I'm going to show you the proper way to grip a handgun. Now you might be asking, like, why do I need to watch a video to know how to grip a handgun? You just grip it, right? And technically yes, you could just grip it any way you want and shoot it, the gun is going to fire. The reason why I want to make this video is because I actually do see a lot of even experienced shooters, not really gripping it in the most optimal way. So like I said, you can grip the gun in any way and shoot it, and even shoot it accurately. But the reason why having a proper grip is good is because things like managing the recoil and having it, coming back down to the point of aim correctly, your grip actually does matter, right? So I do want to show you, the proper method in how to grip a handgun. So basically, this gun right here is clear, nothing, no magazine in the gun, chamber is clear. Okay, and I'm going to use several different types of guns so that you can see that it goes across all different types of handguns, different sizes, things like that, right? The first step, obviously, is to grip your handgun. Now, there's a couple different philosophies in this. Some people say to align it with your arm. Some people say to just put it in the deepest part of your webbing. I'm not going to go over which one is better. That's personal preference. And it doesn't really matter for what this video is about. Okay, so just grip it whichever way you like to grip it. But the important things about your dominant hand grip, so your shooting hand. So if you're lefty, this is, just imagine it on my other hand. But I'm a righty, so I'm showing it to you with the right hand. So you grip it as high up on the gun as you can, right? What I see some people doing, and this is more inexperienced shooters I see. The experienced shooters I don't see doing this. But I see some people gripping it where, you see all the space between my hand and the tail of the gun. Yeah, you want to have it as high up in the gun as you can. Same thing with down here in the trigger, on the bottom of the trigger guard. You want your third finger to be right up against it. You don't want any space there. You don't want any space here. You want it to be as high up as you can. And the reason for that is that you want the relation of the barrel and your hand to be as close as possible. When you have it like this is very exaggerated. I don't think anybody should hold it this low, but I'm just showing it, so that you can see what I'm talking about. But the distance between the barrel and the hand is so high that, the way leverage works is that now the recoil has more of a flipping impulse versus if it's down pretty close the same, it's more of a pushing. So you want it to where the bore axis, the barrel and your hand relation is as low as possible. So that's why you want to grip this as high up as you can. So that's the first step. Now the second step is where I see a lot of even experienced shooters, go wrong. And that's what to do with the support hand or your weak hand, whichever name you want to give it. So what I see most people doing is they'll just grip it like this. They have the thumb across, and then they'll just put their hand on top of their other hand and they'll shoot like this. Or even worse, the more inexperienced shooters, what I see them doing is the cup and saucer, because they see that in the movies, and this is called the cup and saucer because obviously it looks like a cup on a saucer. So we're not here to drink any tea, we're here to shoot. So you don't want to do the cup and saucer because that really gives you no support at all. You might as well just shoot one-handed because this hand is not doing anything. Maybe you think that's just holding up the weight, but really it's not doing anything. The purpose of having your second hand there is to try to cancel out the movement of your strong hand. Your hand, in general, it's very limited in how much you could bend this way, but you can bend this way a lot. So when you have this hand like this, there's some resistance going this way, but there's basically no resistance going this way. So when you have your second hand there, now you're adding that resistance and going that direction with that hand. So it basically wants to center itself. So that's kind of the reason why you want to have the two-handed grip. So that's why when you put your hand underneath it, you're lacking that opposite side compensation. So you don't have that centering effect. And what that does is that after your first shot could be very accurate because you're aiming down the sides and you're taking time. But then when it comes back, down after the recoil, it could come down in any direction because you didn't have the opposite side support. So you want to basically kind of like sandwich it. That's basically what you're doing. But even then, when you see people just kind of gripping anyway, they're adding that sandwiching effect. But what they're doing wrong is that if you have your thumb going across the grip like this, and then you just gripping it like that, you notice that there's a space between my hand and the grip. Now the grip has all this grippy texture because they want you to have a good grip on it, right? So now this is all going to waste because it's not touching anything. Your hand is just hovering over that space. So what you should do actually is, once you have your grip as high up as you can, like I showed you, this space that's here, you want to put your thumb up so that you can have a nice clear space. You want to take the meaty part, basically this part of your palm, and put that meaty part into that space, and you feel the grip. I can feel the grip with that part of my palm. So that's how I know I'm doing it right. It's not hovering, it's touching the grip. And then you want to wrap the other fingers back around, same thing, right up against the bottom of the trigger guard. Same concept, to try to keep it as high up in the gun, keep the gun as low as possible. So you want to put your grip, your meaty part palm inside that little hole, and then wrap your fingers around. Alright, so that's basically what it's going to end up looking like. So a lot of people call this the thumbs forward grip, because you see how it turns my thumbs pointed forward, and that's why they put these little ledges here so you can rest your thumb. I hate that name, by the way, the thumbs forward grip, because the thumbs have literally nothing to do with it. Okay, some people might argue with me on that, but you can cut off both my thumbs and the grip works the same way. It just so happens that when you do this, your thumbs end up pointing forward. It's not about your thumbs are not guiding the bullets anywhere. It's just that when you're putting the meaty part of your palm inside the space and making contact with the gun itself, it just so happens that the thumbs end up getting pointed forward because of that angle. So you're kind of like angling your hand forward like this, right? And don't worry if it's a smaller gun. If it's a smaller gun such as this, okay, I'm putting the magazine in because it, otherwise this grip is tiny. So this magazine has some extension to it, but there's nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. So even with a smaller gun like this, right, you do the same thing. Grip it with your thumb up. You have that space. Put the meaty part of your hand in there, and then grip it, right? And you might think, oh, isn't your thumb touching the slide? Isn't that going to hurt when you shoot? Actually, it actually makes no difference. I kind of thought of that at first when I first learned this grip and I started using it. I was kind of worried, like, oh man, I'm touching the slide. Is the serrations going to hit my thumb, or is it going to interfere with the guns? Actually, it doesn't do anything, and you actually don't notice it when you're shooting. So don't worry about that. That actually doesn't make any difference at all. So same thing, same concept. Even with the smaller gun, just put the meaty part of your palm into this space, and that's it. Thumbs forward grip. Now, another nuance to the grip of the firearm is basically how tightly you should grip the firearm. Now, everything I explained to you, I'm telling you, it's about recoil management and everything like that. So, you would think common sense is to just grip it as hard as you can, right? Yes and no. See, so the thing is, with your shooting hand, with your strong hand, the one that's actually going to be pressing the trigger, you don't want to grip it super tight. You want to grip it firm, but relaxed. And the reason is that most of the time when you're not accurate in your shooting, the main reason is trigger control. You want your trigger control to be smooth and controlled, basically, the trigger control. So you don't want to just be like yanking the trigger. And what happens when you're giving this like super gorilla grip with the hand with the trigger, your trigger finger, the muscles are all going to be around the same place. It's all going to be affected. So what you want to do is actually have a firm but relaxed grip with your strong hand, and then this is where your support hand comes to support it. You do the correct grip, And with your support hand, you want to grip it nice and tight. You know, that's the hand that you want to actually, you know, grip it tight and give it that, you know, good firm grip. So you basically want to grip it tight with this hand and just firm but relaxed with your shooting hand, so that your trigger control is not affected by, you know, how tightly you're tensing up your muscles. You know, so you just want to support it with the support hand by gripping it nice and tight, and then when you go to shoot, it should be nice and controlled. You're not, you know, jerking this thing around. You're not affecting the gun with the trigger pull. So those are basically the basics of a proper pistol grip. And I hope you found this video useful. Obviously, if you like to, go ahead and like the video. If not, then don't. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to be doing some other videos as well, to, you know, kind of instructional videos on firearms. So, you know, I hope you find this video and the other videos useful. And of course, if you haven't already watched it, I did a first video on safety. Definitely watch that as well. And well, thank you, and thank you for watching.